Whew, all right. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. But as today being Sunday, I normally try to go through the bag and take out all trash that I've accumulated throughout the week and start the week off with a clean bag. So today's video is just going to be what I keep in my everyday carry Veto bag. We'll start with the outside and work our way inside. Let's go. So to start off, obviously everybody in the trade should have some type of torpedo level. I'm a big Milwaukee guy. I caught this on sale at Home Depot. So it's got nice grooves on this side of it that will allow you to put it on like a PVC pipe. So that way you can, truly get a feel for how good the pitch is, if it needs to be pitched more, pitch less. And then this side's got all the magnets to it. Just set that down over here. Just a typical crescent wrench. I keep one of two sizes. I've got a small one right here I keep on the outside for just easy access, and then I've got a bigger Klein one inside that we'll get to later. Right on this side, I'm not going to take this off the ring, but I keep my electrical tape over here. I'll keep a white one and a black one. I don't remember. I think my black one's in the work truck right now. But I keep the white one on me in case I need to label thermostat wire for, if you're dealing with a zone board or anything of that nature, you want to label which wires go to which thermostat equipment, things of that nature, just to kind of help out the next guy. On the side pocket, though, that's where I keep a magnet for situations where I need to use take apart the package unit or just keep track of the screws in general. Just this little, I think there's like $3 or $5 at Harbor Freight. But I found this works better than like either using an old speaker or even just the magnetic trays. It's a very strong magnet. As well, I keep a lot of my jumpers over here because on the inside of this pocket, if I can move this stuff out the way, I keep my meter. You guys have seen me use this in a bunch of videos. This actually isn't even like the first meter I've ever used. My first meter was a UEI one, but it's just very big and bulky, and it didn't want to fit in the bag. I've also got the Fieldpiece SC680, and again, I like the fact that the bag has its own like pocket on the side for it. So I wanted to get a meter that was compact and could fit in the side. And this one does, just that. It's got its own space. I know where it is every time I open my bag. If Jacob or my boss need to go in my bag and grab something, they exactly know the meter is on a side pocket. They don't have to go too far digging. Inside this pocket, I also keep the pre-made alligator clips for it. If I'm doing quick testing on something, I'll use these. But if I'm trying to jump a bunch of stuff out, that's where these come into play. And for checking things on like Molex plugs and whatnot, I've got the smaller leads that are way better for it. I know some people say you can still use these, but I've like the original leads on the meter. But I've come to find out it's just taking the extra couple seconds to just pop those old ones off and use these ones. It's way better as far as accuracy and knowing where your lead is actually touching at. And I still keep the K-type thermocouple with it, but I rarely ever use it. I'll probably actually just throw this away. That does it for this pocket. Let me get everything back in here. All right, on to this side. As you see, I keep a lot of markers on this side. That's just for, in case I got to jot some stuff down on a unit. If I need to label a unit and I can't easily get to my label maker, I use this paint marker. I think it's still good. Yeah, it's still got some juice to it. But I keep these just right here. Can never have too many markers on you. To this pocket, because this has a clip for a measuring tape, but I normally keep like the little tiny ones that you can like buy over the counter, or that can get attached to your lanyard. Inside this pocket, I will keep a valve core removal tool. I've actually got two core removal tools in my bag, but this one's just happens to be with my Bluetooth gauges and clamps and stuff. But these are a very big help in the field. I love them. Some of them have, I've got one, this one does not have a magnet on the back end, but I do have one that has a magnet on the back end, and I found that one is a lot easier with helping remove valve cores. I don't know why. I don't know if it actually does anything. I just have better luck with the valve core removal tool by Appion with the magnet on the back. Got the field piece temperature clamps that also get paired to my phone via the JobLink app, and they also go great with the Bluetooth manifolds. If you guys are in the field and you haven't gone to the Bluetooth stuff, it makes it a heck of a lot easier. My boss is still very adamant on using his regular manifold set to check stuff, but if I'm on a system and I just want to double check and see what the pressures are real quick and not have to, you know, hook up hoses and everything, it takes a couple seconds to just pop these things on. And I should probably clean these, but they're just, I can't find one complaint about these aside from the range. I know that field piece says they're like 1,000 feet or something, but I think that also varies between like wall materials. As I know people probably come across the same issue where, you know, you got a commercial building with a lot of brick walls that definitely messes with the signal. But even just working on regular houses from the attic all the way to outside sometimes is definitely not 1,000 feet, but I find myself having some sort of issues with getting good readings. That's it for that side. Inside of here, I keep the Nylog thread and gasket sealant, because inside this pocket, if I come across systems with like no valve caps or valve caps without the rubber seal, I keep a couple valve caps on me. There's more in here, but I also have the adapter piece for the mini splits. I don't exactly remember what size this is, but I know this is the one piece in my bag. If I come across a mini split system, I have to hook this up to it. And I guess I can go to the back side of the bag. Yeah. I'll probably get rid of the notepad here soon, as we get closer and closer to summertime, but I definitely try to keep a PVC cutter in my bag, just because I come across so many drain issues. It's just really easy for me to just cut it up in the attic and figure it out that way. The Klein thermal imager. I picked this up on Amazon for like $200 last year. It has helped with so many service calls. Even had one where I noticed in the apartment building, all the other apartments had a vent in their kitchen, but this one somehow did not. And I wondered, just a shot in the dark, if somebody had drywalled over the duct. And sure enough, they did. And I found that out by just using this and pointed up at the ceiling and saw a big blue square where the cold air was blowing out onto the drywall while the rest of the drywall was hot. So that's a key piece. A little bit of camera difficulties. What I pulled out of my bag there at the last second was the Top Tees digital anemometer that I've used in various other videos. This doesn't tell you actual cubic feet per minute, but it is pretty good at getting an average feet per minute that then you could then calculate to cubic feet per minute if you're interested in it. So I'll go ahead and put this all back in the bag and show you guys what's inside of it. All right, inside the bag, quite a bit of stuff here, but we're just going to get through it really fast. M12 impact driver, probably my favorite tool on a day-to-day basis. I know. Let me see if I can do a drill flip. Not perfect, but it works. All right, on to the next thing. I've got my wire strippers. They do have a crimp placement in here, but I don't like that. I've got a specific tool for crimping. I've never found this to make very good crimp connections, but this is one of my favorite wire strippers. They're fairly large, but I've never had an issue with them aside from the crimp. My actual crimpers that also have wire stripper pieces on here. This is made by Klein. I think I've probably had this for a few years now, but I've made solid crimp connections with this one. The Klein also makes one that does not have the wire stripper pieces, and it's just that, I mean, it works the exact same. The 13-in-1 Milwaukee tool. I've got Phillips and flathead on both sides, small and large. On this side, I've got the valve core removal tool and the square Robertson. I think it's called Robertson bits, but just the square heads. And these can also act as nut drivers, even this one. The other crescent wrench I was talking about is this one made by Klein. It can also serve as a pipe wrench. I normally use this just as like the backing wrench for when I'm trying to undo gas piping. Just because I don't trust the very narrow teeth on here. I primarily use it just as a typical crescent wrench. But if I don't have a second gas pipe with me, I will use it as a back wrench. To complete the job link kit, the hygrometers, I believe is what they're called. Oh, the flex psychrometer probes. Name's right there, Austin. The only issue I have with these are the magnets. As you can see, I've had to replace one of these already, but this one is starting to go out, and you can see like the magnet piece, the rubber on it is starting to just deteriorate and weather over time. I don't know if that's due to my fault or if it's the material. I'll just say it's 50-50. I keep a wire brush in my bag for just brushing off either just rusty metal. It works very good on cleaning up the flame spreaders for gas furnaces. Gotta keep a mirror with you. Gotta keep it. I need to clean the mirror, but I keep that in the bag for being able to see up under evaporator coils, just because I may not be able to always pull the evaporator coil, but on a lot of air handlers, they have the filter racks where you could remove that piece, and I could easily just stick this mirror in there, flashlight, and be able to look and see if the evaporator coil is truly an issue. I've got this 6-inch Milwaukee bit extender, and there's a magnet in here, and it also just locks in any chuck piece that you put in here. So Phillips, the Malco flip bit, whatever you want to put in here, just know it will be secured. However, if you try to use it with a drill bit, like a spade bit or whatever, and it gets caught in the wood, this bit will let it go. I've come to find that out. It will let the drill bit go if you try to put this through wood. Keep a pen for writing in my notepad, and my thermostat screwdriver, because for some odd reason, this Milwaukee screwdriver, the bit for it's the first screwdriver I've come across like this. The Schrader valve piece would normally come with the small thermostat screwdriver adapt piece, but it does not, so I had to get a specific thermostat screwdriver for that. Got a set of Jacob calls them linemen's. To me, they're really just pliers, side cutters. Some people call them by another word that I don't know if it is safe for YouTube, so I'm not going to call it that right now, but I will just say side cutters. I don't know why this is my favorite channel lock I think it's really just because it auto adjusts. It's it's a nice feature, but I probably need to get a bigger set, just one bigger set to put in this bag. I'd have to find out where to put it if I need to take something out and replace it with it, but this primarily gets the job done for me. That's just so clean. You could even move that out of the way, so then you could adjust it yourself wherever you want. So I like it. And a generic set of needle nose pliers. Inside the bottom of this bag, though, I've got this Klein magnetic light. You may or may not have seen it on previous videos. It is USB rechargeable, and it only has 2 modes of lighting. But it acts as a mount. I think there's a metal plate up here. I mean, it sits fairly well. There's a yeah, it has a very strong magnet to it. Oh wow, you couldn't even see it. Last thing I'm gonna get out of the actual center part of the bag is my Klein flashlight. It's got a carabiner hook to it, some magnets, and it is USB rechargeable, and it's only got two settings, a high and a low, and that's it. But it does have a very long run time in the low setting. I'd say this light could last me probably 4 days worth of work if I obviously don't have to leave it on for a large amount of time on a service call, but I'm only using the low light setting. It'll last me about 4 days. I keep this pocket thermometer in the bag for outside purposes when I'm at a condenser and I want to know the temperature going into the condenser and coming out of the condenser. I've found taking that reading can really help me figure out if I need to clean the coil or not. I've used this tool on so many service calls. It's a very good ratcheting Klein multi-purpose ratcheting wrench. I don't even know what it's called really, but you've got your 1/4 inch side and your 5/16 side. The 1/4 inch, again, you can use for your bits. I think it's right here. So, and you can reverse the other way. You could even just put regular like Phillips head, flathead bits in there and it'll still do the same. And it's got a magnet in there, so it'll try to help hold the bit as best as it can. Inside this pocket is the Appian valve core removal tool and a bunch of screws that I've taken off various other units that I keep in case I'm working on a unit that that needs some screws, and I've got some in that pouch right there. But I mean, I've worn off the paint on one side of this, and it's just a very good valve core removal tool. You could probably pick this up at your local supply house that sells anything Appian or anything. I've found they sell them at places where they sell the Navac tools as well. Very standard refrigeration wrench. Every service tech should have it. I found this bit to work very well on the liquid lines and on any already in use suction line, but I have a specific Allen wrench in the bag to undo suction lines when not like the first time you open the system up. I don't know why, or if it's just a certain different size, but on brand new condenser installs, I have a very difficult time undoing the king valve on the suction side with this wrench. Inside this pocket, I also keep the Subco flame sensor cleaner. This is hit or miss, honestly. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not going to complain because it was just a neat tool I wanted to try out, and it's not worthless, but it's also not foolproof. And that does it for the inside of here. Up here I keep 2 different size step bits. I primarily use these for drilling into the ductwork to put in my probes for the cycrometers, or for the manometers when I'm trying to do a static pressure test. Up here, 2 different size Phillips bits. I don't know why. I'll put one of these away somewhere else. The Klein nut driver. These come in a pinch when I'm working on blower motors. It's got all different various sizes. The 3/8, get it in camera, 3/8 to 11/32, and then 7/16 to a half. This can pretty much help you undo any blower motor, and the blower motor brackets that are helping hold it on. That's an automatic keep in the bag. There's something else right there. Oh. And here goes the 1/4 inch and 5/16 that I've been meaning to find to put on here. So they all kind of stick on here. The Allen wrench that I was talking about, it's very rare I'm putting in condensers at this time of year. I'll probably say once a month, maybe I'm putting one in the summertime. But this is just very good for getting open the king valves on the suction line. What else? I keep a 5/16 spade bit in case I need to run some thermostat wire. But I believe that is it up here. This bag does come with a hook. So if I'm let me adjust the camera. If I'm working anywhere and I just want to hook the bag up somewhere, I haven't tested this with the bag fully weighted, but I have to believe this will work. I'll probably try it in an upcoming video. But aside from that, in this pocket right here, I'm not going to take everything out of here, but you can see I've got some wire nuts in here, spare wire. I also keep the female, I'm not going to dig for one right now, but the female spade connectors and the male spade connectors. I don't exactly know what size gauge this is, but it's not that big. But I keep them in there in case I'm splicing something together or I'm removing an old part, and to make it easier on the next person for testing purposes, I'll go ahead and just make crimp connections. So that way, if they're trying to figure out if power is going to that component or not, they can just undo it there instead of needing to do it at the control board or anything. And that's pretty much the whole bag. So I don't know, the bag layout may change as we get closer and closer to summertime. Because I'm not trying to carry a gigantic heavy bag in every service call for the summer, but I do like the fact that this bag will allow me to pack it up with pretty much everything I need, and I don't have to keep going back and forth to the truck or the van to get something. I mean, it's the whole purpose of the bag, is to pack it out with what you need to get most of everything diagnosed and or fixed right then and there. And anything else, I mean, you can't put everything in a bag. It would make it very not practical. But I'm happy with this bag. You guys have probably heard me talk about it a lot. It's the same bag that my coworker uses. But the TP-XXL is beautiful. And that's going to conclude today's video. I'm going to go ahead and get all of this put back in my bag here and go ahead and get ready for the week. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Catch you on the next one.